Do you have a chair that you still really love, but it has a soft spot in the middle so that when you sit on it, it feels like you're sitting in a hole? I'm gonna show you how to repair that chair seat and make it feel like you just replaced all the webbing, but without having to reupholster the chair. So here I've got the chair sitting on my table upside down. I'm gonna take off the dust cover. Since this dust cover has already got holes in the bottom, it looks like probably a cat was, I'll replace it. I'm just gonna rip it off and I'll replace it with new cambric when we get this done. Okay, so I can see already what the problem is. So this is a spring seat. These are the springs, obviously. This is, I guess I don't know exactly what the name of this is, but it's a connector, and there really should be at least 2 of these. And that's why this one is not terribly slouchy. And I don't have any of these, nor do I have the tool that attaches these to the metal. This is like a clamping tool that attaches these things. I imagine you probably don't have any of these, nor that tool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you an easy way to fix this without any upholstery tools. We're gonna need just a 2x2 from the lumberyard and a piece of plywood and then a piece of foam, or you could use scrap fabric or a sweatshirt or a sweater or pretty much any kind of padding or a towel. Anything you can put in there. So let me show you how this is gonna work. Here's my 2x2, which I bought at Home Depot, and I had this piece of scrap plywood. So now I've got my 2x2s cut. They fit right here on the sides. I'll have one here and one here. And I'm gonna go ahead and pre-drill holes and countersink those. You don't have to countersink, but definitely pre-drill your holes so you don't split your 2x2 because it's so easy to do. Now I gotta find some screws. And you wanna find a screw that will obviously go through this and into here, but not out the other side. Okay, so now I need to make sure that I have a 1/2 inch of space here, and my board fits. Ooh, my board fits snug. Okay, and you know what I did? I didn't account for the fact that my chair gets wider in the front. So my board fits nice and tight back here, and then I have space up here. But you know what? I am going to just roll with it. Okay, so I've got my chair sitting on its side because it's so much easier to use gravity to drill straight down than trying to drill into the side. So now I'm gonna pre-drill all the way through these because it'll just make the process so much easier. I won't have to struggle to get those screws in. Okay, so now we can go ahead and put the piece of plywood back here. It fits, so that's good. Now I'm gonna lay this back down and get my padding that's gonna go in here. I'm not sure, do I have foam? Okay, wouldn't you know, I can't find any foam, but like I said, you could use anything. You could use scrap fabric, scrap foam, Dacron, old clothes, towels, whatever you've got. And I happen to have this pillow, which I don't even know what this is from, but you know, I have so much stuff in my workroom. And it's not anything special. It's just a fiber-filled pillow that I had stuffed under my table. So I'm gonna use this. It needs to be pretty full so that it's a struggle to push it down because you want it to fill out your chair and push against that piece of plywood. And that's why you need to have your plywood piece. It needs to be a 1/2 inch piece of plywood because it's gonna have quite a bit of pressure from this pillow. So there's my pillow stuffed in. I've got the corners stuffed in, and actually a pillow works really great for this because it fills out all the way to the corners. So now I'm going to take my piece of plywood and I'm going to stuff it underneath the 2x2 that I've got attached right here. That's the one you just saw me screw in. And now I'm going to push this down and see if I can push it down far enough to get my other 2x2 in on the other side. I may have to put this on the floor to do that. Since I have this sitting on the table and it's basically pushing against me, I'm going to put this on the floor so that I can push down on this and the table's not pushing against me. Okay, so I've got the chair on the ground so that I'm not wrestling with the top of the seat here. So I've got the plywood pushed down. This pillow I might have needed to take a little bit of stuffing out of there, but it'll be fine. It's not pushing past this, so I can still put my cambric back on and this won't bulge out. Okay, so the plywood is pushed down really good and tight. I'll put a little pressure on this with my hand. Let me get my screws in there. Once I get this first one in, the second one will be easier. Oh my goodness, good enough. Get yourself a number 2 Phillips head drill bit. Don't buy the number 1s. Which one is the fixed chair? Can you tell the difference? For sure, for sure, for sure. That's the old slouchy and this is the fixed chair. And let me try them out. Oh my gosh, night and day. Night and day. Oh. Yeah, you see how I'm sinking in to this one? And this one, if I could sit on it properly. This one feels like I'm sitting in a hole. And when I sit at the table, it feels like my table's like up underneath my chin because I sink down so much. This one is firm and the right height.